Annyeong Haseo, and welcome to this episode of Tripology, the only backpacking show where the hosts put on little backpacks and saunter off around planet Earth. I'm Alun, and I'm here with one of the greatest backpackers of all time. It's the ever toroidal Adam.
Thank you so much for joining us for yet another week. We really do appreciate it. Alan, it's good to talk to you, mate. We heard on the last episode that you were off to East Asia. Tell us what's going on.
I've landed in Seoul, South Korea. I'm here. I'm literally in the country, going about all somnambulistically recovering from jet lag.
Oh dear. Is jet lag something that affects you often? Or only when you do sort of really long distances east to west?
Historically, I've been very unconcerned with jet lag, but on this trip, I really tried to plan in advance. I set my watch to Korean time. I was looking at it whilst I was in the UK going, oh, sort of 7 p.m. in South Korea. I can start winding down thinking about it. So when I did arrive, first few nights, mate, were a breeze. I thought I'd conquered it until about 3 days in, I found myself drifting off in a museum, sort of in time to the music of one of the exhibits. And I thought, this isn't good. And just last night, I was up until 6 a.m. So I've well and truly been floored and hammered.
Oh, were you partying until 6 a.m. or were you just up as a result of the jet lag?
Yeah, I was in bed, sort of shivering, trying to cry myself to sleep, as only jet lag can do to a man.
Oh, no. Are you sure it's jet lag as well? It's like there's absolutely no way. You're up at strange times, not feeling tired when you should be.
Are you trying to suggest it could be like an emotional issue, maybe, unrelated to the jet lag?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just an easy go-to, isn't it? Because you've flown such a long distance between time zones. Whenever you feel tired or you wake up in a strange hour, maybe naturally you'd go, well, it must be the jet lag. But maybe it's not. Maybe you should dig a little bit deeper. There's something else going on.
Yeah, some deep-rooted issues that, like, now that I'm travelling to escape them again, they've actually all come flooding back.
No, 4 days is a long time. There's like a delayed kind of lured you into a false sense of security. You thought, I put all this training and preparation in and it's still done me.
Mate, I have put a lot of training and preparation in. Let me tell you the story of how I came to be here in the Republic of Korea, just trying to see what there is to be seen here. I chose Korea because, as we all know, I've got a working holiday visa for Japan, that I have to be in Japan by April. And I thought, there's a country pretty close to Japan that I've not explored, that I want to explore. So I'll come to Korea first. What a beautiful decision that's turned out to be. I, of course, had a layover in Shanghai. Now, the problem with layovers in Shanghai is that you can't check in online for the flight because they want to check you can definitely go to Shanghai. Do you know what I mean? They're not just like, yeah, check in online, get your boarding pass, saunter through to the plane. Those Shanghai people want to see you at the check-in desk in the morning to check what your business is there.
Oh, really? Okay. But did you need to provide sort of an outbound journey proof of flight or anything along those lines? Or
as soon as they see the passport, mate, they're good to go, but they want to see it physically.
Physical.
But instead of telling you that, instead of just going, hey, you can't check in online for this flight, China Eastern Airlines give you the option. They're like, why not check in online? And then when you try and do it, they go, oh, sorry, there's been an unexpected error. Please come to the check-in desk. Why not? And then I go, oh. But what that essentially means, mate, is that I couldn't pre-book a seat. So I want your opinion on this. So I was left with my big, long flight to Shanghai.
Your big, long flight.
I was given that seat that's sort of at the front of the plane.
Where the pilot sits?
Yeah, I was on the pilot's lap. They ran out of seats. Colin, his name was. I think that was his English name.
Yeah, we do need you to check in person so we can see your passport. But we have upgraded you to the cockpit.
The proverbial cockpit. Yeah, exactly. No, I want your opinion on it, mate, because I was in that seat where you've got extra leg room.
Right.
But the cost of the extra leg room is that you're at the front of the plane. The stewardess sort of sits right next to you and you have one of those entertainment systems that comes out of the arm of your chair as opposed to on the seat in front.
Yeah.
And I think it also carries a set of moral obligations that I was uncomfortable with.
Oh, like opening the exit door in the case of an emergency.
I'm not so worried about that because I'm very confident that there wasn't going to be an emergency, but you are the front domino of the seat reclination cascade that will ensue if you try and relax for even a moment.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. People don't talk about this sort of stuff often enough. But of course, if you don't recline your seat, there is a chance that no one behind you for the entirety of the plane, or at least to where the divider is, where usually the first set of toilets are, everyone could just sort of sit upright and have maximum spacage.
in that front seat, you are the last frontier that guards the passengers at the very back of the plane from being crushed unrelentingly by the seat in front of them. I can't hold myself responsible for what every passenger behind me will do, but what I damn well can make sure is that there's a glimmer of hope. And I like, as I sat in that front seat and saw passengers go behind me, I looked at them like a army general commander with a salute saying, I will hold the fort here. I will stay bolt upright for this whole entire flight. Don't worry.
I have absolutely no doubt, mate, that you've thought about this probably more than most people would. But that's why you run this travel show. It's a lovely observation that I'm sure lots of people listening to this will think about next time they're on a plane. Have you ever thought about broaching the subject with the person behind you? You know, because you're doing a good thing, because you're thinking of them. That's, you know, you're thinking about, it's a long plane journey as well. If you sort of peeked over the chair and just went, hey, just to let you know, I won't be reclining my chair for the entire trip. So enjoy that.
What would be good is if I had a sort of pass it on disposable business card that I could pass, like saying, right, guys, none of us are going to recline our seats. Pass it on and just keep it going right to the back of the plane. And then, because I was in the middle seat, right, middle front. Ooh. So imagine if one beautiful bolt upright middle row where we're like, hold, we're all upright. Everyone else is reclining, crushing each other. When the stewardess comes to bring round our dinner, she's like, can you just put your seat up? We've got dinner. We're like, we're already up, baby. Let's go. We don't need to put our seats up for landing. We're already up, and we have been for 11 hours. We've got spinal issues, scoliosis left and right, but my God, have we been done each other proud.
Yeah, the community, the sense of togetherness is through the roof. I don't think that the front seat, certainly where you're talking about, you might get extra legroom, but because you do have the television that comes out on that sort of arm, and then also the tray table as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a downgrade, if you ask me. I'm not sure the price of the seat should be the same.
You're on the same wavelength as me. So many people say, listen, that's a great seat. You've got extra legroom. But frankly, I'm an averaged height man at 5 foot and 9 inches. I don't really need that extra.
Taller than Messi.
Taller than Messi, but a lot of that height comes from the torso. You know, I've got short legs and I don't need that extra legroom. What I crave is lateral motion, and that is significantly reduced in those seats. And I think China Eastern Airline, if they are going to make you check in person, they should really say, look, do you have the morale for these seats? Because it's 11 hours, you're head of your row, you're head of your column, and you've got to be prepared for very limited lateral motion. So, you know,
it's one hell of a responsibility.
It is, mate. And as a result, I arrived in Shanghai airport sort of, I'm not going to say broken and downtrodden, because I felt like I did my column proud. I don't know what went on behind me. I'm sure that a few rows down, someone did recline, and I'm sorry for that to everyone else there, but I can't manage that.
Yeah, I am team no recline. I'm not even sure I think that the seats on an aeroplane should recline. And I know that's maybe, it sounds a bit dictatorial, or, you know, I don't know if the enjoyment or the pleasure that's given or that you receive from reclining your seat is enough to justify how fucking annoying it is when someone in front of you does it.
I'm team recline not at all, or recline all the way and just have everyone resting their heads on each other's laps all the way back to the back of the plane.
Maybe that's the button you should have at the front. If you're in that front seat, the button should be you either all go back or no one goes back. And then that really is a moral obligation to sort of look around. You ready for a snooze, guys? Yeah. All right. I'll press here we go. You ready? Hold on.
I have the power just to ratchet everyone back. Yeah, I'd like
forward.
That, mate. Then I would pay extra for that seat.
There's a lever that the air hostess can pull when just a few moments before the food is served. Everyone shoots bolt upright. Babies go flying.
Love it. That's what I learned. So I arrived in Shanghai, mate. Shanghai airport, I've got to say, is a little bit disappointing. It's impossible to connect to the Wi-Fi there. Like literally, there's a series of firewalls that means that even though they try and bait you in and say, oh, why not go to a Wi-Fi kiosk, get a little code? Yeah. I found it impossible, which meant that I arrived for the second leg of my journey, I was planning on doing a lot of work in Shanghai airport. I was planning on booking my accommodation in Korea. I was planning on sort of figuring out how to get to my accommodation, how to get into the city from the airport. So maybe that's on me, a bit of lack of preparation. But for me, I think I've got 6 hours in Shanghai to do that. I thought I could rely on having Wi-Fi and capability.
I think that's very normal for you to have thought that would be possible. If you asked 100 people on a survey, name one thing that will be in Shanghai airport, top answer, it'll be Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, I'm sure.
Well, my top answer would be like sort of broth, soup.
Chinese people.
Noodles and dumplings. And there was that. So they did cater to the very top spot. But number 2 for me was Wi-Fi, and that wasn't available.
Oh dear. So you sort of twiddled your thumbs, mooched about. You had 6 hours to kill. What does 6 hours in Shanghai airport look like for you? Because your bag's going the whole way, is it? You got to carry on. That's all you need.
I got my carry-on, mate. I basically spent 3 hours trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, and then another 3 hours just trying to sleep, sort of curled up into a ball, just defeated.
Oh, really?
And thought, I hope this is all over soon.
Yeah. Airports in Asia, it was surprising to me when you texted me and told me that it wasn't great, didn't cater to your needs, because, I mean, airports in Asia, I think, are far superior to most airports in other parts of the world.
Well, I agree, mate. I thought that as well. And it was only when I finally touched down in Seoul, South Korea, that I thought, now this is the sort of Asian efficiency that I was hoping that Shanghai would provide. And I know that's controversial, and I know it might cause issues with my visa and prospects going to China in the future. But frankly, I was so darn impressed by the hospitality, beauty, cleanliness, hygiene, super fast internet capabilities of the airport that I landed in Seoul.
Yeah.
That my mind was blown, mate. And I thought, I'm glad I'm here and staying here. Now, when you arrive in South Korea, the first thing you should do is get a little T-Money card from a convenience store. That allows you to ping around on the public transport with no problem. So I did that. Checked myself into an Airbnb late at night, put my head down, and that concluded my first day in South Korea. I literally got to the airport at 3 p.m, boom, straight to the Airbnb, fell asleep.
Okay, so you're in your Airbnb, I noticed. I gave you the name of a few hostels that I stayed in. Any reason you didn't go with any of those, mate?
Mate, I searched for those hostels that you suggested, and I was alarmed to find that a lot of them were considerably more expensive than any Airbnbs that were available. And, you know, I'm struggling again with something I've been noticing for a while. I've maybe mentioned on the show before. Hostels are becoming pretty pricey, and it's almost as if you're paying a premium for the experience of staying in a hostel, whereas a little one-bed tiny Airbnb that comes with the free ability to do laundry, a fridge, a microwave, those sorts of things, they're sort of being better priced.
Yeah, they obviously are more private. And I need to say from my side, I don't know anything about the runnings of a hostel. So I can't say whether there are genuine reasons why some hostels are more expensive. But it's natural to draw that conclusion, to come to the conclusion that, well, hang on, if 6 to 8 people are in the same room and they're all paying more than what you would pay for a night in an Airbnb on your own, it does beg the question, why are these things priced more highly? If we just try and brainstorm it now, the only logical solution I can come up with is that backpacking as an activity, as an experience, is becoming more and more popular. And therefore, there's an increase in, well, people traveling, I suppose, and staying in hostels. So naturally, they're just profiteering off that and raising the prices.
Yeah, it's alarming that they're selling the experience, because I would prefer to be in a hostel. I want to be around other backpackers. I want to be doing things like going to the DMZ and all the palaces and the museums here with other people.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I would prefer that experience, and I would, I just draw the line at paying more for that experience, especially while I've been sort of somnambulistic in getting over the jet lag. So I've resigned myself to spending the first sort of 5 days in an Airbnb, and I'll try and move to a hostel after that. Not much to report about my first sort of few days in Korea, mate. I've slept a lot. I've ate some good food. I went to a night market and had some lovely noodles. I've had some Korean barbecue. One early little observation that I think is beautiful and I love is that unlimited kimchi comes with almost every meal. A probiotic fermented cabbage that is obviously so good for you. I think it's amazing. Well, looking around Korea, having come from the UK, it is alarming how healthy and fit everyone looks. And I think that can be in no small part due to the kimchi. I think it's ironic that we look at the West, we look at Korean people and go, oh, they look so beautiful and youthful and young. It must be that they have excellent skincare. But in actual fact, they're just eating buckets full of kimchi every day and it's working.
Well, if I know you well, and I do, have you done any research, any digging onto the sort of health properties and nutritional value of kimchi itself?
I mean, my tongue's been doing the research, mate. It tastes like it's fermented to high heaven and as such is very good for the gut.
Yeah, well, the side dishes that you're talking about, have you noticed that you get quite a lot of side dishes just with your main meal? They sort of come free, sometimes as many as 12 or 14.
Oh, I haven't had as many as 12 or 14, but what I have had is one, basically, just the kimchi so far. So I need to explore more. I went to this little night market, had this like dumpling broth. It just came, she kept on observing from behind the counter. She was like, that guy needs more kimchi. That guy needs more kimchi. And with a wave of a hand, more kimchi would be brought to me.
That's amazing. Those little side dishes that we're talking about that come free with the meal are called banchan. And they're definitely one of my fondest memories. One of my favorite things about Korean cuisine is that these things just keep coming. They're unlimited, and they change the experience of eating food. They often go very well with the food you're eating, and they're also sort of regional specialities as well. So if you are tight on money,
I think we all know that I am.
I don't mean necessarily you, but you can have a pretty good feed in Korea just by buying one dish and then absolutely feasting on all of these lovely banchan, of which maybe the most iconic is, of course, the lovely kimchi.
Now, I described you at the top of the episode as toroidal, and of course everyone knew that was the scientific term for a sort of bagel or donut shape. Do you consider the bagel to be a traditional Korean food? I have frequented a few bagel places at lunchtimes.
No, I don't consider the bagel having any sort of history or origins in Korea. How has your bagel experience been so far?
See, I would disagree. I think it's been co-opted by the Korean people as a sort of traditional Korean lunchtime snack.
Okay, fair enough. So in modern day culture, the bagel is a popular dish. What have you been having? You've been having unlimited kimchi in the bagels?
I've gone and seen our friend down at SF Bagels, mate. He was very excited to see us, and anyone who's in Seoul, South Korea, I would recommend go to SF Bagels.
Yeah, that's good. So that really is a full circle moment. I know that's a bagel joke, obviously, but is it the best bagel you've ever had? I hope it's at least the best bagel you've had in Korea, because it was. Did you have a scone as well? Go back. I know you're going to be there for a couple of weeks. Go back and have one of the scones. My goodness.
Well, so excited to see the other half of Tripology, having befriended the first half, i.e. you. She did give me a free scone.
Are you joking? I'm doing the work on this side, so you don't have to. That's great, mate. You had it with jam. Where did you eat it? What was it like? Talk to us about it. Because a scone, I mean, are you going to tell us that a scone is also now a part of modern day Korean culture?
I think the scone has very much been co-opted by the Korean people as a traditional lunchtime dessert. And what I do like about Seoul that I've noticed so far is there's quite a lot of green spaces intermingled into the city. So I would recommend, if you did want to enjoy an SF bagel and a scone, you should go to one of the green spaces, little park, have a little hike and enjoy. Under the surveillance of CCTV, there's a lot of CCTV all over the city, and I enjoyed the fact that there was probably someone watching me eat that bagel.
You think they're monitored live? There's people there that are just...
Well, someone told me that if you jaywalk in the city, then the cameras will also detect that you've jaywalked, use facial recognition to find out who you are, and then send a ticket to your registered address. That's why everyone waits at the red lights, at the crosswalks.
I mean, I don't know if I'm in a position to say that I disagree with that, but it's maybe a bit much from what I'm used to.
I've been wearing a parka kindly given to me by my friend to survive the cold weather here, so try and facial recognize that, South Korean government. I bet you can't. Oh, it's that sexy Inuit fellow again, jaywalking across the street. He doesn't have an address.
Dear, oh dear. And if you want to make sure, I guess, that someone does see you eating your bagel, you could always eat it whilst jaywalking.
Exactly.
And just sort of, look at one of the CCTV cameras smiling as you tuck into one of those very delicious, very free SF bagels.
I love it, mate. So that's what I've been up to so far, and I'll be sure to share more stories with you as I traverse Korea more thoroughly. Now, though, Adam, I believe you have something for me.
I do. I know you've only been there a couple of days, but you're very quick to gain an understanding of a place. So I've curated for you a little thing we like to call Tripping Point. Tripping Point.
Now, Adam, I hope these questions are not too complex because I can say 안녕 하세요, I can say 감사합니다, I can say ne. Is it ne?
I wouldn't know. I've got no idea.
I think that means yes. Ne. What else can I say? I can say that's about it. So I've got a basic understanding of the language, but apart from that, I know very little about Korean culture.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. There's absolutely no questions surrounding Korean language, but they are interesting. So I'm ready to kick off. Now, as is tradition, we do have to have some stakes. So I'll pick the stakes if you pick the number that you think you can achieve.
2 out of 5.
You reckon you're going to get 2 right?
I've only had 2 full days where I've not been asleep. So I'll say I'll get 1 question right for every day that I've been here.
It sounds like you've done more preparation for the jet lag than you have of your time in Korea. So
yeah,
if you do get less than 2, then maybe it's time to go to a few more museums. But what we'll do is if you get 2 or more correct, then I will pay for your boat. I will gift you your boat journey from the south of Korea over to Japan in time for your activation date, your Japanese working holiday visa.
Amazing. I am actually planning on buying a houseboat and doing that journey myself. So thank you so much. 감사합니다.
That's handy. And then if you don't get 2, you can pay for my flight over to Japan.
All right, deal.
That's fair. And like you, I was thinking about buying a small biplane as well. So cost-wise, that should sort of work out roughly the same.
Well, yeah. Mate, you couldn't drive a biplane.
Right, here we go. South Korean tripping point. Love it. Number 1. K-pop bands are hugely influential and the industry generates huge sums of money. But what unwritten rule is imposed on K-pop stars by their management companies? Is it A, no fried chicken or kimchi before performances? Is it B, male stars must have either natural or platinum blonde hair? Or is it C, no datings or relationships?
It's C, no dating or relationship. And you know how I know that, mate? It's because I'm a big K-pop fan and I always check what sort of relationships they're in prior to getting invested. And I'm always pleased to see that they're not in one.
Okay, cool. So that's done and dusted. You got 1 in the bag. Did you know K-pop originally emerged in the 1950s but transformed in the 1990s into a more modern genre? The industry's estimated value is $10 billion. What do you think about that rule, mate? Do you know much about the rule? I mean, I've done some reading so that I could ask you the question, but
well, no, I agree with it because I noticed that whenever you mention your partner on Tripology, listenership drops dramatically. So I agree with the rule. I mean, if you want to be successful, you should keep yourself available.
Yeah, God, it is exactly that, mate. It is because they obviously create this kind of idea, I suppose, and there are a lot of crazy fans, fanatics, who maybe imagine themselves one day with this certain person. So I don't think it's written into contracts, but it is sort of frowned upon to speak about a partner or dating. I can't imagine it's policed to the point where they're actually not allowed to have a relationship, but who knows? Not me. Number 2, it's considered taboo to write someone's name in which colour ink? Is it A, red? Is it B, blue? Is it C, green? Or is it D, black?
Oh, it's either red or black. Black seems like it would be fucking a real issue.
Very impractical.
Yeah, really impractical. So for that reason, I have to say it's got to be red.
It is red. You're right. I love the methodology there, the workings out. Did you know that the superstition is that if a person's name is written in red, death or bad luck will come soon? Previously, when someone died, the name written on a memorial wreath or a death certificate was written in red to ward off bad spirits and prevent them from following the deceased's soul.
Wow.
The only time that red ink is acceptable is for doing a dojang, which is kind of a personal stamp, and that was traditionally used instead of a signature.
Interesting stuff. And that anxiety, that national anxiety, was of course exacerbated by the anime Death Note, in which a man writes people's names and by doing so kills them.
Oh, wow. In red ink, I assume.
I'm not sure what colour ink he uses, but I think he can use whatever pen he likes. I think most of the magic is stored in the book itself.
Yeah. Very, very cool. So number 3, the staple food kimchi is synonymous with South Korea, but roughly what percentage of people consume it on a daily basis? Is it A, 55%? Is it B, 65%? Is it C, 80%? Or D, 90%?
Now, I think 90% feels right, considering how much kimchi is served free of charge with every meal, as discussed. But you've got to factor in that not everyone's going to like kimchi, even popular though it is. And there are some meals, like the aforementioned national Korean dish, the bagel, which don't come with kimchi. So for that reason, I've got to go with 80%. I think that feels right.
Okay. It is estimated at a 90%. I mean, it's absolutely mammoth. That's almost everyone, don't you know? And did you know Koreans consume an estimated, if you had to pick a number, Alan, of tons of kimchi annually, would you be able to say something?
10,000 tons.
Try 1.8 million.
That's what I meant when I said that. I was put the zero in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. I meant 1.8 million.
Well, you're the editor. I'm sure using AI, you can create the correct answer.
I mean, it's ridiculous. 10,000 is ridiculous considering you just said 9. But I was imagining 90% of all Koreans eating a tiny bit each.
Moving swiftly on, you're doing very well so far, though. I'm impressed.
2 for 3.
Number 4. In Korea's traditional aging system, if you were born on December the 31st, how old would you be on January the 1st?
No multiple choice, I notice.
Let's go with A, you would be 0, no years old. B, 1 year old. Or C, you'd be 2.
Right. Okay. So let me just tell you, I basically think that it's ridiculous for the answer to be anything other than 0 or 1. But in Tripping Point, I'm always playing the player and not the game.
Right.
And I just don't think you would have included it as a question. So I can only assume and imagine that you are 1 when you're born and turn 2 when it crosses over into the new year, and that's why you've asked the question. So I'm going to say 2.
You are simply the smartest person I know. That is exactly what happened. Traditional aging system in Korea means that you are 1 when you're born, and then you add a year. So everyone in Korea ages up on January the 1st, not on their birthday.
Mate, I've earned every penny of that boat ride to Japan, haven't I?
Yeah. No, I love the way you worked it out. I wouldn't have got that. I would have just been, spinning my wheels going, well, hang on, you must be 0. I mean, well, why wouldn't you be 0? But yeah, in June 2023, South Korea officially adopted the International Age System for administrative, legal and civil matters to reduce confusion and social costs. Yeah, no shit.
I'm glad they owned up to it. They're like, oh, this is causing quite a lot of administrative, legal and social issues. So
yeah, now that we've got people traveling abroad and there's soft power and they're living in other countries, it's getting quite difficult for people to say how old they are. Right, number 5, you ready? There is a little bonus question afterwards as well, but we've got number 5. Here we go. The DMZ, or Demilitarized Zone, is the border barrier that runs between North and South Korea. But which year was it created? A, 1948, B, 1950, C, 1953, or D, 1956?
Okay, now I don't know anything about North Korea, the DMZ, the conflict there. I'm going to go to the DMZ during my time in Seoul, so I'll know a lot more. My intuition would be that it has to be sometime around the cessation of the Second World War, but not so close to that they've not had time to set up a DMZ yet. So I suppose I'll go for 53.
Oh, you're bloody good, mate. You got it right. I mean, that boat ticket is well and truly yours.
What a performance.
I know. You've been amazing, man. 1953. So you are quite right. There was the Korean War that I think lasted from 1950 to 1953. But interesting little fact that's not that fun. Due to the Korean War ending with a ceasefire as opposed to a peace agreement, the countries are technically still at war.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. We got a bonus question just to keep it nice and light. Are you ready? Are you ready for this one?
I've always been ready for these, yeah, especially when I'm 4-1 up.
Yeah, little bonus here. The busiest domestic flight route in the world is between Seoul's Gimpo International Airport and Jeju Island's Jeju International Airport. But how many flights are there per day?
Gimpo?
Apparently so.
50.
50 flights per day as the busiest route.
Yeah.
In the busiest air flight.
What, flights on the same route?
Same route. And the most flights in the world, the busiest.
Well, obviously it's more than that. Well, I don't know. What do they send a plane up every 2 minutes? How many minutes are there in a day?
You're not far wrong, mate. There are more than 130 flights on that route per day, which is equal to about one every 6 or 7 minutes. 14 million seats per year, all of which shouldn't recline.
That was a stunt lap for me. I wasn't that invested in the bonus question, having already bossed the rest of the quiz.
Right, you are, mate. I look forward to that. You could just send me the invoice. Just send me that little link to the boat you want to book when the time comes, and I'll just settle that for you with no problem at all.
Very expensive. It's going to be a luxury boat ride to Japan. Can't wait. That's all we have time for today, but we will go straight to the Patreon section, the Lost and Found. If you've not ever heard the Patreon before, please consider supporting us over on Patreon. It's where the real cool community lives, over there. Lost and Found. There's a link in the description of this episode, wherever you get it. If you're on YouTube watching the video, you can click the description. If you're on Spotify or something similar, just click show more. You can see the link, click on it, pay a bit of money. Patreon, Lost and Found, bonus content. It's ever so exciting. But next week we'll hear more about your adventures in New Zealand and more. This is very much classic tripology for me, where we're sort of 2 pins and different corners of a map, both traveling, both moving around. Classic tripology. You gotta love it. We'll see you all next week.
Thanks ever so much, guys. Cheers for tuning in. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.